Hi, this is Barb Ryan. This is the Night of Insight. It is March 18th, 2021. I will be playing the singing bowl and grabbing questions out of it and giving teachings based on those questions. I appreciate you being here, and I hope this information is useful to you. Okay. Question says, why do people lie? Is it because of unhappiness? Why is it that people lie? Do people lie because of unhappiness? Do people lie because they're unhappy? Any question that we ask about another or that we ask about people in general, we will gain the most information when we look inside of ourselves. So everybody who listens to this, whether you're watching it later on YouTube or listening to it now, look inside of yourself and look at the times that you have withheld the truth, at the time that you have omitted a truth, at a time that you have not been aware of your truth in the moment and realized later what you could have, should have, would have said. At the time that we are in a different story, some might call it denial, where we're not really seeing the truth of the situation. That might be a time that what comes out, the story that we tell, does not match our thinking and our emotions and our behavior, and our speech doesn't always match. When that happens, people may say that we're lying. We might notice inside ourselves. And it's not about being right or wrong, but about not being aligned. And at that time, we seem to be saying one thing and doing another. I think that's the basis of most lies, right? Then we have people who are seen as chronic liars, or people who live lies or lie all the time. And there can be many reasons that this happens. It could be about social isolation. It could be about a mental or emotional health diagnosis. It could be about fear. It could be about being victimized. It could be about being traumatized. Often a trauma response to something in our lives is that a different story is created and we don't have all the details of what happened. There's traumatic memory loss. Now, is that a lie? Not intentionally. Is it an untruth? Not from what we know. Is it the whole story? Not yet, not always. We're not even telling ourselves the whole story. So when we ask questions like, why do people lie? Is it because of unhappiness? There are lots of reasons that people lie or tell untruths or are in denial. And I would say that the main reason is because they are out of alignment with their own piece of the truth. And sometimes our story changes simply because we get more information. One day we might be adamant about what we believe and know to be true. And by the next day, our experience changes, our belief may change, and we get to change our story some. And maybe it's about being honest about that it changed. Then the question about, is it because of unhappiness? Well, certainly that might be one reason. People might tell people what they want to hear. because they want them to be happy. They're people pleasers. They want to appease people. They want to please people. So they'll tell you what you think, what they think that you want to hear. And they would be so surprised if you accuse them of lying because they think they're reflecting back what you want to hear. So, like many questions, this can be quite complicated. And the answer is always within you. What is it within you at any time in your life that your mind, body, spirit, emotions, and your voice are all aligned with the same story? And if not, be very loving and forgiving of yourself. Not to beat yourself up, but to look at what you feel safe sharing. Sometimes people omit parts of their truth or parts of the story because it's not time yet. It simply isn't time. Okay. And you can hear the papers as they dance in the bowl. How can I best regain weight? Are the barriers to overcome in pursuing this mostly anxiety, or are there physical impediments to identify and overcome? How can I best regain weight? The same question could be asked of how do I lose weight? How do I be at my ideal weight? How do I be at my best physical health? How do I know what that is? How do I align my physical body with the healthiest weight and all the numbers, the blood pressure, not just the weight, the cholesterol, the sugar, the heart rate. There are so many measurements of our physical well being. And often it's important to be under the care of a doctor or even an alternative medical person, a Chinese medicine person, a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, somebody who's certified in doing a level of energy work. It's not always an MD, but sometimes we need more information outside of ourselves because we get lost in our physical body. We've been in it our whole lives. And early on, especially as women, but just as people, we are taught not to honor our bodies. We are taught that our bodies are not ours. We are taught to pay attention to advertising. We are taught that it's okay for other people to comment on our bodies, shape or size or color or texture. Not okay. So some of this healing is reclaiming our bodies, knowing that we are a spiritual being inhabiting this physical body right here, right now, at this time, in whatever shape or condition that it's in. And to be the healthiest, we always want to say, what would love do? What is the most loving thing that I can do for my body right now? Do I need to eat? Do I need to fast? Do I need to nap? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to take a movement class? Whatever it is, we want to be able to ask our body and get an answer when our body is feeling safe. And our body feels safe when we are loving our body and honoring our body. And as I said, sometimes that's going to a third party, another person who has more expertise and experience, not in your body, but in bodies. And they can help you to read your body, listen to your body, talk to your body, be in your body in a safe way. So, one of the ways of discernment that we can learn is trusting our body's messages to us. And yes, they might have gotten messed up over the years, just like our mind's messages to us and our emotional messages to ourselves. So we want to filter these through love, filter these messages through the most loving voice we can find inside of us. So as I go within and I ask myself, what would love do? What would the spirit of love do? What would the most loving activity or action or food be for me in my body at this moment? One way that we can discern this is to hold something in our hand, hold it to our body, think about it, hold the thought to our body. Does our body yearn for this? Does our mouth water? Does our body lean into it? Does our body really feel like it would want that? It would be so good for that. Then we know that's what our body needs at this time. If our body feels repulsed by it and we just want to gag, or we want to, oh, we don't like the smell of that or the taste of that, then we know that that's not what we want at this time. But when our body has been fortressed off from us, whether we've gotten too thin, or whether we've gotten overweight, or whether we've gotten out of shape, but when we no longer feel safe in the body that we're in, we cannot always trust the voice of our body. It has been corrupted. It has been corrupted by saboteur voices within us that are really trying to protect us and really have our best interests in heart. And when we learn to align with them again, we will be able to trust, discerning for ourselves what is best for our body at this time. Until then, we might find a body worker that we really trust, right? By asking around, by looking on the internet, by looking at how many, likes and reviews and all of those things, but mostly by word of mouth, and then checking in with our own self. Hmm. So, how I can best regain weight, regulate my weight, regulate any of the numbers having to do with the health and well being of my body and being in my body, is by feeling safe and listening to your body and asking, what would love do? The second part of the question says, are the barriers, right, to overcoming these barriers, these blocks, the stuck places within our body? Are they mostly anxiety, or are there actual physical blocks? Again, the anxiety can create some of those blocks, but what it can also do is exaggerate them. So we often need to find safety within us or with another person in our bodies so that we can trust our own voice again. So when we say, are the barriers mostly anxiety, we can say we know that's a part of it, right? Because the anxiety is part of fear. And fear of change, fear of exposure, fear of vulnerability, fear of success, fear of failure, all of those fears get in the way of loving ourselves and being our full and complete expression of ourselves. And now, for the next question. What, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of trustworthiness? What is the meaning of trustworthiness? How do we know when we are trusting ourselves? We just talked about how do we know how to trust our body, right? And earlier, how to trust our piece of the truth. In the word trust starts with the word true, TRU, right? So trust is very related to truth. As we are in touch with our own truth, we can better trust ourselves. As we trust ourselves, then we can trust our discernment tool to see how safe we feel with another person, to see how much we trust them. And this is all about feeling safe, being able to feel vulnerable, being able to feel love, to be able to feel loved. So when we look at trustworthiness, we're saying, am I worth my own trust? Am I worth your trust? Am I worth being trusted? Well, most of us, when we look inside and we find a time that we weren't living our truth or speaking our truth, we find those and we see those and we forgive those and we love those. Those times may also be the times that we felt like maybe we were not trustworthy. But instead of beating ourselves up, we can look at that situation and apologize to our own self and ask ourselves for acceptance and love because we were as true and honest and as real as we could be in that moment. But we recognize that it feels as though we betrayed ourselves. So when you find a time that now it feels as though you betrayed yourself, be very loving toward that part of yourself. It really thought it was doing the best that it could do, that it was protecting you. It didn't mean to sabotage anything. It was protecting you by building walls that weren't totally based on the truth, right? But were based on fortresses and obstacles and the illusion of safety. So when we look at the meaning of trustworthiness, each of us needs to look inside of ourselves and say, when have I been true? When have I broken my own vow about truth, about trustworthiness, about speaking my truth, being trusting? And if there's another person involved, and if it's a relationship that's important to us that is still ongoing, it may be a good idea to talk to that person and let them know that you have now found your piece of the truth and you'd like to share it with them. But you don't need to. There's absolutely nothing that says you need to. You can do it in your own self, in your own way, from your higher power to their higher power, so to speak. You can do it across the airwaves. You can do it in letters. You can do it with people who have died or people you have not seen in decades, because the real story of trust and building trust is the one inside of you. That you are trustworthy to the people that you care about, and that you are building trust with yourself through love and through others that you love, slowly but surely. And as you trust yourself, then you will learn how and who you can trust. And if you deem them trustworthy, that's your call. That's your call. But first, we need to be worthy of our own love and acceptance and trust. What is a good mantra? What is a good mantra to start the day and shake off worries? What is a good mantra to start the day and shake off worries? So I'd like each of you, every one of you who's listening to this on YouTube, whenever you find this to listen to, or those who are in the listening audience right now, close your eyes and go deep within inside yourself. And talks about shaking off worries even before the worries have come in. What is a good mantra to start your day with? We all know that when we start our day from a loving place, when we start our day from a positive place, when we start our day from a place of wonder and possibility, that things go better, that we feel better, that we feel a tiny bit more hopeful. I wonder what could be uplifting for me today. I wonder how I can open up to the unknown blessings on their way into my life, into my mind, into my heart at this moment. I wonder how I can be open to the abundance that is coming my way. I wonder how I can let go, release, let go of the fears that are blocking me from wonder and from love. So you go deep within you and you ask your own guide, your own spiritual guide, your own inner wise woman. Go inside and ask. Those are just some examples. Ask for a mantra that you could start your day with that would set it off in the right tone. And when I say right, it's not right versus wrong, but aligned. You know, I align myself with all the good that's coming my way. I align myself with all the gifts the universe has for me. I align myself. I align myself. A mantra can be a chant, a song, an affirmation. Sometimes when we're not ready to just claim something as our own, it doesn't feel real to us yet. It's okay to say, I am willing to learn, to open myself to unknown blessings. I am willing to open myself to discovering my gifts. I am willing to open myself as much as I can on this morning, on this day. I am willing. I am open and I am willing to that which best serves me in this moment. I am open and willing to that which brings comfort and soothing to my body, to my mind, to my emotions, to my spirit. These are all just ones that I'm generating at this moment that are flowing through me, that may be from you or about you or not, but they may spark something within you that you say, okay, I can start every day with I am open and I am willing. And the key to this is the night before. The night before when you're going to sleep. Think about your intention of good, deep, relaxing, resting sleep for that evening. And look at how to attain that. And set your intention for the morning, saying, I hope to be feeling open and willing in the morning. My desire when I wake in the morning is to feel open and willing to greet my day. There you go. Something like that. Any one of those. And the way you'll know that it's true for you, and it may change every day, but the way you'll know it's true for you is you will find yourself having a sigh of relief. Yes, relief is what shows us that we're on our way, we're on our path, we're going in the right direction, we are aligned. That exhale, that feeling of relief. Another way we know is that we smile. We simply feel lighter. It could be either of those, feeling relief and or smiling. And the other way is we feel ourselves leaning into it. Like, oh yeah, what she said. I want some of that. If you feel that within you, then that was the mantra or chant or affirmation or song in your belly, in your heart. May even create a song in your heart. This looks like it's a bit of a story, but I believe there's a question in here, so I'll read it and we'll find the question. Over the years, I've had a lot of events in my life that caused changes, difficult choices, and loss. And I want to acknowledge that in this last year, in that year of the pandemic that is still ongoing, there's been lots of events for each of us and lots that we've witnessed that have created changes, difficult choices, loss, and grief. And take a moment just to acknowledge that piece of the truth for all of us. I've collected many things, items, memories, stuff that I have a hard time letting go of. This collecting also causes clutter and confusion in my brain, but I have a hard time letting go. I'm afraid of losing what I can't regain. Now, even though this person is speaking of material goods, right, stuff, the stuff's in quotes, hard time letting go, talking about even within our brain, the confusion that happens. Sometimes we have a hard time letting go of negativity, letting go of things that no longer serve us, whether they are material or financial or relationships, friendships, family ships, whether they are thoughts that we've thought for a long time that no longer fit for us, we just don't know what to replace them with. If they're beliefs that we've held for a long time and they're kind of clogging up the system, but we're afraid to let them go because I'm afraid of losing what I can't regain, right? So the question becomes, how do I let go of that which no longer serves me, especially when I'm afraid of not knowing what it will be replaced with? Well, as we said in the last one of the things you're looking for is the sense of relief. If when you think about letting something go, letting someone go, letting a residence go, of moving, of changing, of all those things, when we think about letting go of knickknacks or things around the house or all the books we have when we've already read them, if we think about where to donate things to. So you want to look at, how does it feel stuck? How are you surrounded by something that begins to clutter your brain? Even if it's organized and doesn't feel like clutter, how much of it is from times past that no longer serve you, no longer bring you happiness? And possibly, if you were to gift it to someone else, it would bring them joy or happiness, or at least relief. It would bring them relief. So you pick up each item one at a time that you're thinking of letting go of, or you make a list of all the judgments and the negativity in your mind that you would love to let go of. Or if you make a list of all the shoulds of things that you should do, but you haven't gotten around to doing them, maybe you don't really want to do them and you'd rather let go of it, right? So, on many different levels, pick up something, hold something, think of something, and say, am I ready to let go of this yet? If you are, easy. It goes into the pile, whether it's a recyclable pile or a giveaway pile or the trash pile. There could be 3 different piles, right? But it's basically on the edge of the area that this is leaving the house. This is leaving my life. I am releasing this. I'm getting rid of this. I'm letting this go, right? Then there's those things that we say, I don't know. I don't know if I want to let go of this. I have not worn it for a long time, but somebody precious to me gave it to me. And they recently passed, and it reminds me of them, and I want to hold it in memory of them. Maybe it's in the pile of, I'm just not sure. But for now, I'm going to hang on to it. And it goes in the for now pile. Right? Then there's some things that we look at and we go, no, I'm never getting rid of that. That's in my forever pile. That is my forever friend. That is my forever family member, no matter how much they misbehave. That is my forever memory of this wonderful time. Maybe one day I won't need the photo for the forever memory or the album or the music. It'll just be in my mind. But for now, I want to hold that, even if it's just on my phone or in a photo album, or if it's a knickknack. That's my forever one. So you'll have the pile of those which I would feel so much lighter if I let it go. When I let it go, I'll feel relief. And you just decide, is it going to be given away, regifted, recycled, or does it actually go in the trash? Second one is not right now. I'm not ready to decide about that. I'm not ready to let go of that relationship yet. Even if others tell me, oh, that relationship is unhealthy or bad for you, they don't know. They don't know what goes on between us. So for a little while longer, I'm still hanging on to that. And then there's the ones are the forever ones. And you find yourself leaning toward it, nodding your head, wanting to share it with everyone, or holding it tight and close and precious and never sharing it with anyone else. It's on a necklace that you wear close to your heart and you don't even share it with others. And that's fine, because it's just for you, or it's in a little secret box in a secret drawer somewhere. The idea is, what is it that brings relief? This is a question of how to make a really important decision in one's life. It says which vaccine and which location for obtaining a vaccine are the best and safest for me. And the way to tell this is the way that we have talked about in each of these teachings. The subtitle in many of these is the place of what would love do? What would love do? What would the most loving choice be? What would the most loving experience be? And by loving here, we're looking at what would feel like relief. Whenever we are making decisions out of fear and anxiety, or out of fear at all, our body is tense, we're worried, we're holding everything so tightly that it's hard to make a decision, it's hard to know, it's hard to breathe, it is hard to swallow, it's hard to digest. So the first thing, the first condition that needs to be addressed is the fear, is the anxiety. And being able to say, what would love do? How do I trust that I am going to be okay? How do I trust getting the vaccine and that's right for me at this time? And do I simply put my name in the lottery and whatever comes up, I take and trust that that's what's best for me? Is it a level of research that I do? Do I have underlying conditions that I need to check with a medical person about and ask them what side effects do any of these have that may affect me and the conditions that I already have? But when it all comes down to it, it's about releasing as much of the fear as possible, making the absolutely best decision and trusting, and this is true about every decision, trusting at the moment that we make it, we are making the best and most well-informed decision that we can, and that we're hoping for the best, that we are intending the best. And then we create all of the support that we can create for ourselves. We have a friend that can accompany us, maybe, or be with us afterwards, or that we're able to call right afterwards. That we get to talk to a medical or alternative medicine person and ask them, um, knowing us, knowing our conditions, what they believe would be best for us. If we don't trust our own body's ability to discern because of the fear, because of the anxiety, we can also ask someone else. There's lots of energy medicine practitioners, many different types, that will use a kinesthetic body testing, uh, testing with their hands or their fingers or with you or their body, that can be able to better give you a yes or no answer. And looking up one of those people, getting a referral, muscle testing, that's what it's called, muscle testing, checking in with somebody who does muscle testing, but again, trusting what they say, being able to let go of the anxiety enough to trust their ability to muscle test, talking to them enough to understand that system and how it works. And some discernment, like muscle testing or leaning forward in something, and other ways of discernment. And I'm saying this seriously, not jokingly, but when we were children, we learn a sense of discernment when we flip a coin, and we'll flip a coin. And when it's up in the air, You know, if heads we get our way, tails we don't, we're hoping it lands on heads or we're hoping it lands on tails. And on its way down, we say, oh, I hope it's heads, right? A or B, whatever that is. But we say we're hoping for a particular thing that inside of us, we believe that's the answer. Maybe it's as simple as flipping a coin, either because we believe that we are divinely guided. And when we flip the coin, that will be a discernment tool, right? Or when we pull a tarot card and we pull another kind of a card, all kinds of discernment tools. Or that as we flip the coin, we will know what's really in our heart because we will feel it come up big. And that's what we will act on. So those are all some different ideas, but the basis under all of it is, what would love do? How would the most loving presence inside of you guide you in any decision you make? And the last question is always, is the bowl empty? It certainly looks empty. It has no more papers in it. And the bowl appears to be empty, but the bowl is full of many things that don't take up physical space. The bowl is full of wisdom and love, joy, happiness, of teachings, whatever we want to find in this bowl. We can call forth. I can call forth from my bowl. We all have different things that we use for our discernment tools, that we can use to get in touch with our higher guidance. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to end the recording now and get back to the group that is watching this live. Thank you all.